Hi everyone, Andy Pickering here. Welcome to the Crypto Conversation Weekly Market Sentiment Report. So as always, recording this on video, so the best place to watch it is the Brave New Coin YouTube channel, but you can just listen to it as a regular podcast on Apple or Spotify as well. What are we going to do? Really just going to run through some of the big headlines of the day, of the week, to see what's going on, because there's quite a bit going on, as always. There always is in crypto, but yeah, with that said, let's get into it, So if we start over here at bravenewcoin.com, and we can see, look, Bitcoin is back. Bitcoin is back at 44,500. And on the Ethereum liquid index, the ELX, look at that, Bitcoin, Ethereum, sorry, well over 3,000, back up to 3,239. On the Coin 360 heat map, we can see, yep, pretty much a sea of green for the most part on all major coins, which makes a nice change. Some strong market momentum this week. First really sustained positive price action this year, in fact. So as a result, the fear and greed index, which of course has been stuck in extreme fear or fear really for the last few months, is back into neutral. I mean, you can't take this thing too seriously. It's a fairly basic sentiment analysis tool, but it's always fun. If the price action continues to be bullish, then this should get back into the green. We'll start to get greedy fairly quickly. So if we just look at a proper look at the Bitcoin liquid index on TradingView, you can see, yeah, so right, really been in a downward trend since back in November. But you can see, yeah, last week this downward trend was pushed through resistance up above around 40,000K and broke that with authority. And now, for now, we're looking good. We're looking bullish. I don't know, who knows whether we can maintain this, but there's some good macro bullish news happening. Some good headlines at the moment, which of course will just contribute to that price action. We'll look at them, some of them in a second, but the big news this week, of course, was the US Department of Justice announced that they had recovered a significant portion, and it's most of the Bitcoin really that was stolen from Bitfinex all the way back in 2016. So here's the statement from the Department of Justice. They say that they've arrested 2 people for a conspiracy to launder 4.5 billion in stolen cryptocurrency. Man, that is a lot of Bitcoin. How much Bitcoin? Around 119,000 Bitcoin, worth 4.5 billion. Staggering amount of Bitcoin stolen from Bitfinex back in 2016. 2 people arrested. So the 2 people arrested are Ela Lichtenstein and his wife Heather Morgan, both living in New York City. Now, the details of this are yet to fully emerge. We're just kind of getting the broad strokes at the moment, and I think the full story when it comes out will be just one of those tall tales that crypto is renowned for. And well, it's an incredible story already. Part of the reason for that is this woman, Heather, who's one of the accused. Turns out she's an author. She used to write for Forbes. Let's just have a read of her bio, because it's fascinating stuff. Heather Morgan is an international economist, entrepreneur, and investor. She's an expert in persuasion, social engineering, and game theory. And Morgan is the founder of EndPass, which uses AI to automate identity verification and detect fraud. When she's not reverse engineering black markets, she enjoys rapping and designing streetwear fashion. So quite a colourful character, this Heather Morgan. How colourful? Well, let's just this is Heather. the Turkish Martha Stewart. I think she's describing herself there as. So, as I say, she's a rapper. She enjoys rapping. She enjoys performing. There's a lot of questionable TikTok videos out there that Heather herself has put out into the world, and it just goes to show, you know, sometimes reality is stranger than fiction. And, you know, plot twist, the rabbit hole, it gets bigger, deeper. So Heather is, she's on Twitter. You can go through her Twitter account, which, you know, she self-describes herself as, a surrealist artist, rapper, and fashion designer with synthesizer. And she did a talk in New York a few years ago, which has been documented here on Twitter. The talk was about how you can social engineer your way into anything. And she describes herself as an expert in social engineering. So I guess the point is, was she part of the team that hacked that Bitcoin from Bitfinex? And if so, was part of that hack done by social engineering? Various people, either at Bitfinex or one of the other custody or security providers to Bitfinex. So, you know, these are all details that are going to come out in the weeks, probably months ahead. Maybe there'll be a movie, maybe there'll be a book, but it's just another fascinating chapter in crypto's long and sordid history of exchange hacks. Just speaking of Bitfinex, I did a podcast, published this about 10 days ago, with Paolo Ardinio, who is the CTO at Bitfinex and Tether. It's a good podcast. We didn't talk too much about Bitfinex. It was more about the Bitcoin bond that El Salvador are issuing, because Bitfinex securities are issuing that Bitcoin bond. But that's worth a listen as well. All right, what else is happening? I said there were, you know, some good macro crypto bullish news headlines that are contributing to the current positive price action we're seeing on Bitcoin. Here's one of them: KPMG Canada. KPG, of course, one of the big 4 accounting firms worldwide, along with the likes of Deloitte. And KPMG Canada, well, they announced this week that they have completed an allocation of crypto assets to their corporate treasury. The allocation consists of Bitcoin and Ethereum. They don't say how much. And of course, they also bought some carbon offsets to maintain a net zero carbon transaction. So as I say, they don't say how much Bitcoin or Ethereum they've bought. It doesn't really matter. It's just a really positive signal when you get one of the top 4 global accounting firms putting Bitcoin and Ethereum on their corporate treasury. That's a positive signal. Here's another one, Cash App. Lightning Network is now available on Cash App. Just enables anyone to send Bitcoin to other Cash App users using the Lightning Network. Makes those Bitcoin transactions effectively free. Also a good thing, just another signal. What else is happening? Thought this was interesting. So, you know, you'd be probably aware the regulatory environment in the US is, well, it's mixed, I think, is a good way to describe it. But the reason it's mixed is you've got politicians on both sides of the aisle pushing and pulling. Some are for crypto assets, some are against, but it's very much suddenly a topic of discussion in the halls of power in a way that it never really used to. So, for example, Ted Cruz, senator based in Texas, and he's become very much a proponent for Bitcoin and is championing Texas to become one of the preeminent locations of Bitcoin mining around the world. So that is very positive, and, you know, skin in the game. Ted himself bought the Bitcoin dip last week. This is a disclosure from Ted. He bought between 15,000 and 50,000 worth of Bitcoin. So yeah, good on you, Ted. At the same time, you know, as much as people like Ted are flying the flag, there are various Senate committees looking at different parts of the digital asset ecosystem. There's one going on at the moment called Examining Digital Assets Risks, Regulation and Innovation. Some of these are talk fests. Some of these carry significant weight and will have significant impact on the digital assets industry in the US. What's interesting, spoke about how suddenly crypto is a topic of conversation amongst US politicians. You got the likes of Elizabeth Warren leading the charge against, Ted Cruz perhaps leading the charge for. But at the same time, the same is happening in mainstream US media. So this is an example. Tucker Carlson. Turns out Tucker Carlson is a Bitcoin guy. Who would have thought? But he hosted Ryan Selkis. Ryan, of course, is the founder of Masari Crypto. And I'm just going to play some of this because it's pretty good.
So the administration reportedly plans to unveil an executive order that would detail, quote, economic, regulatory, and national security challenges posed by cryptocurrencies. This comes after Hillary Clinton declared that cryptocurrencies undermine the U.S. dollar. Not the recklessness of our leaders. That has nothing to do with the falling value of the dollar. But Bitcoin is the real problem. Actually, Bitcoin is a reaction to the reckless behavior of the central banks, of course. But the question is, would cracking down on Bitcoin create an opening for the broad adoption of the Chinese Communist Party's digital currency? Ryan Selkis is the founder of Masari Crypto. He thinks that's possible. He joins us tonight. Ryan, thanks so much for coming on. It's a very interesting topic, and I wish we had more time. But boil it down for us. What do you think this is really about?
Well, thanks, Tucker. First, we have to talk about what crypto actually is, because it's confusing for a lot of people. It's a new technology. And let's start out with Bitcoin. It's a payment system. You can send money to anyone, anywhere around the globe. And it's as easy as sending an email. Bitcoins themselves are fixed supply, so they're kind of like digital gold. And that's one of the reasons they've performed so well over the course of the last 10 years, really. What we've learned more recently is that all of these technologies can underpin other applications as well. So decentralized finance can be an alternative to Wall Street. Crypto media can help with censorship. And collectively, this industry is the fastest growing sector of tech since the internet itself. Not everybody likes that, as you can imagine. This isn't good for big government. It's not good for big banks. It's not good for big tech. And this technology provides a check on all three. The CCP actually banned this tech. And unfortunately, they rolled out a centralized version of their own. Our policymakers are starting to trend in the direction of CCP, which we're obviously trying to prevent at the industry level. But it could be pretty dicey the next few months, as you noted.
So cryptocurrency, what a nice description that was. Thank you. Cryptocurrency essentially poses an existential threat to the hegemony of the Davos class, of the reckless people who've wrecked everything. They're threatened by this because it promises independence to average people. Is there anything they can really do about it, do you think, in real life?
Well, let's talk about the Biden administration's financial regulators. They talk a lot about protecting Americans from crypto. The reality is this is about control. Because if you look at the state of the crypto economy right now, there was more crypto transactions processed last year than Visa processed for years. Just doing fine. And instead, this...
So, yeah, I won't play the whole thing. You can look at it yourself. I mean, the whole clip's only 5 minutes long, but just interesting to see mainstream media figures such as Tucker Carlson are really giving. He's had Michael Saylor on his show on Fox multiple times, and just giving people like Michael Saylor and Ryan from Masari an opportunity to really get the positive talking points of crypto across in a really articulate way. And Tucker, instead of attacking them as he sometimes likes to do, he's just getting these guests on and letting them preach the crypto gospel, really. So I just think it's fascinating. It just speaks to a momentum shift as crypto's power base and mind share grows. So fascinating, absolutely fascinating. All right, thought that was good. Thought that was interesting. Let's just start to finish off. Anything else happening that's interesting? What does Lynn say here? A group wants to inject a Bitcoin into a mouse's DNA. This is a DAO that wants to do this. Lynn probably sensibly says some things are best left undone. I had a quick look at this. This is the DAO. I don't know what exactly. This is a DAO that wants to experiment with genetic technology to put a Bitcoin inside a mouse, a laboratory mouse. How are they going to do this? Well, it's a bit mouse, and I guess they have a little bit of an explanation as to how they think they're going to do this. I suppose, I don't know if this is serious. I presume it's some kind of it's almost like an NFT art kind of stunt. But it's also, this is how you get, this is how weird new pandemics are going to start. So if you start fooling around with laboratory mouses and cryptocurrency, eventually something will go wrong. But anyway, thought that was interesting. And yep, Paris Hilton, God bless her, has released another round of Paris Hilton NFTs. She's collabed with a digital artist. Fairly out there digital art. Not sure if that's to your taste or not. They've all sold out, but you know, you'll be able to buy them on secondary markets if you so wish. But it's just good to see people like Paris Hilton fighting the good fight. All these different celebrities are really getting into metaverse NFTs in a big way. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there for today. So that was just a quick one. Just wanted to have a quick look at some headlines because, yeah, the market's gone positive again just for now. So cool to see Bitcoin back to 44,500, ETH back to 3,200. Will the momentum continue? I don't know, but a few more macro positive news triggers, and well, I don't see why not. So we'll keep an eye on it. But that's it for today. Thanks very much for listening or watching, everyone. This was the Crypto Conversation for a Brave, a New Kai.